Well, King Soopers is now suing the labor union during this 14-day strike, which we are now almost halfway through.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. That's what we're just sitting here asking Whitney about this legal battle and the strike itself. 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor joins us now. So in this case, King Soopers went on the offensive first. Let's talk about the lawsuit that they filed against the union. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so this is on the offensive because this strike is obviously the workers' ability to leverage some weight against King Soopers. So they filed this lawsuit saying that, hey, you're forcing us. This is a strike with the local union number 7, UFCW number 7, and they're saying you brought in these other unions, and this was a concerted effort to really put some pressure on King Soopers. Some were out of California, some were out of Washington, and said, you're forcing us to negotiate with them, and that's sort of a coercive, threatening act. And so under the Labor Management Relations Act, they were able to sort of skip some of these administrative remedies and go straight into federal court. And so that's what King Soopers did, was said, you violated these rules, and so now they want the cost of the strike as well as their attorney fees. So it was a very short, this is it was a 12-page complaint, which is relatively short.
So the idea, of course, in a strike is eventually to force hands and get somewhere to meet, either solve or find a middle ground somewhere. Yeah. The 2-week strike is unique. The idea of suing during the strike also doesn't seem like it is moving towards settlement. It seems like you're exacerbating things a bit. Yeah. But talk to me about this 14-day strike. I think most of us aren't too familiar with the scheduled strike with an open and close date, if you will.
Right, so that was really for, I think, the union members to say, hey, we're going to strike for 2 weeks to sort of lessen the economic impact on the workers. But I just, as we were talking about, I saw the president of the Local 7, Kim Cordova, said it could go beyond 2 weeks. So that's still up in the air, and I think, King Soopers, we were talking near King Soopers and Safeway, the one on Crumeria. And every time I go by the King Soopers, I'm not breaking the picket line. Safeway is completely packed and King Soopers is bare. So it's got to be having an economic impact.
Is the 2-week strike a little like a parent saying, I'm going to count to 5?
Yeah,
I get
seriously.
4, 4.5.
4 3/4.
Is it a little like that, though?
I think so in some respects, but I also think just the notion of the strike itself is really the pain point,
right,
even if they're saying it's 2 weeks. But if they extend, then we're looking at more pain for King Soopers.
For everybody, yeah.
There's also this temporary restraining order.
Yes.
And explain that a little bit, because some people might not have known about that.
Right, so the temporary restraining order was just filed yesterday, and I think there was a hearing today. I tried to look, I didn't see any results yet. But yeah, King Soopers is trying to limit what the workers can do in front of the store. Yeah, and they did the same thing with the 2022 strike, and they actually got the temporary restraining order, and the court there said you can only have 6 people at a time. You couldn't block the entrance, because that's what King Soopers, again, getting on the offensive, they're saying, hey, people are blocking the entrance, they're telling workers, or they're telling customers that the store is closed. They're creating a fire hazard by having the heat there. So some of that is a little ticky-tack, if you will.
Yeah.
But King Soopers is doing whatever they can because, this is, the strike is designed to create disruption with the company and economic pain, and that's what it's doing. So now King Soopers is trying to get on the offensive.
And we're not hearing about any movement, about any, but we may not be hearing what's happening as well.
Let's hope something's happening a lot behind closed doors.
Still 8 days left in what is currently set as a 14-day strike. Whitney, good to see you. Thanks as always. Appreciate the insight.